Crawl, directed by Alexandre Aja, takes place in Florida during a hurricane. An aspiring swimmer named Haley goes to check on her dad during a Category 4 hurricane because he's not answering his phone. Before long, she realizes that gators have overrun the area due to flooding. As more and more gators come into the area looking for food, Haley and her dad fight to survive. Alright, so Crawl was one that I didn't plan on seeing originally. The trailers never wowed me because it really did look like this would be another simple run-of-the-mill survival film without much substance to offer. Then the reviews came in, things were looking positive, and it looked like Crawl was going to be one of the pleasant surprises of 2019. My brother and I went to go see it in theaters before it actually left, and I can say that I really enjoyed it. I don't think Crawl offers a ton of rewatchability, but I don't think you'll regret the time you spent watching it at the theater. It's well made. One thing I will say though is that it's very simple, which is probably not surprising to many people, and I think that's actually mostly to its benefit. There's only so much you can do with this premise. I mean, a hurricane is coming, alligators show up, and they try to eat everybody. I mean, if that's your premise, there's really only so much you can do with that. I did find myself wishing that there was a little more backstory provided for the two main characters and, to focus a little bit more on what made them who they were and their relationship and all that. But this is a survival film, and that's, it's way more focused on some scares, some high levels of tension, and, great atmosphere, which it delivers on those things. The characters aren't as important in a film that's really more about fun like this one. I do understand that, but I did find myself wishing that I knew a little bit more about them so I could just invest a little bit further in their fight against hurricane alligators. That said, I think the two main actors in Scodelario and Barry Pepper do a great job at two things, and that's firstly feeling like father and daughter, and two, expressing emotion, particularly fear in a way that feels genuine and realistic. The performances are good, and that's part of why I wanted to know more about the characters. It seems like there's a lot of backstory about the relationship that the film purposefully keeps a mystery, which is cool in a way and also a bit frustrating in a way. Still, the performances are good, and I have a lot of respect for them because of just how much rides on them actually delivering good performances. The movie just does not work without it. I really did love the atmosphere of the film as well, though. The hurricane is its own character. I mean, the hurricane acts like a ticking clock, slowly counting down the impending doom of our main characters, because as the hurricane gets worse, the flooding gets worse, the wind gets more intense, and the main threat of the alligators inch closer and closer to killing off the protagonist. The film does a great job of making you feel that impending doom for the characters. For the most part, the film takes place in one location, but the circumstances that dictate how the characters maneuver their environment to ensure their survival are constantly changing, and they're very challenging for the characters, which is really cool and a nice touch for this film. I think that the way the film is shot makes the experience feel contained. It's sometimes refreshing to see a film with the confidence to contain its story to a singular location that keeps the characters feeling isolated. It worked very well for what Crawl specifically was going for. Technically, Crawl is a horror film that's, at least in part what it's listed as. I'd say action and thriller are probably more fitting. I wouldn't say that it's that scary. I mean, it's more suspenseful than anything. And, the alligators certainly are scary, but I wouldn't say that this film provoked a lot of fear from me or anything. I felt more like, sweaty palm syndrome, where I'm just feeling uneasy and tense because there's usually a slow build-up to something bad about to happen, or there'll be an alligator that sort of pops up out of nowhere to attack, but it's not so scary, just kind of startling and, nerve-wracking a little bit. So I think it definitely achieves its goal in that sense. It's scary enough, it's very tense, and it hooks you with the suspense of it all. I think that my only other criticism of the film is one that I'd say is probably inevitable. I'd say that the film feels a bit repetitive. I think that is inevitable because you have a survival story taking place in a confined location with alligators as the main threat. I mean, how much can you really do with alligators? They want to eat the characters, and that's mostly it. I mean, I think there's a lot of similar things going on and similar beats hit, and I don't think I ever felt bored, but I would have maybe liked to see something more with the hurricane itself as a threat and a little less of the alligators. Still though, I think Crawl is a well-made film that goes small when a lot of others are going for big right now. I liked it a lot, and I think it's a good, solid watch if you're looking for something simple and effective. As for the pros cons, for the pros, I think the performances are both really good, the atmosphere is awesome, the film is well shot, and there's lots of suspense and excitement to be found. As for the cons, I would have liked to see the characters developed a bit more, and I think there's a bit too much repetition with the alligators. Overall, I'm going to give Crawl an 8.5 out of 10 and recommend you check it out in theaters if you still can. I think it achieves what it set out to do, and you'll likely have a good time with it if you enjoy smaller, confined films like this. So did you guys see Crawl? What did you think of it? And if not, let me know why not. Also, I have one recommendation to end the video. If you're into superhero content, then you should really watch The Boys on Amazon Prime. I may end up reviewing it at some point, but it's a grittier, more realistic take on the superhero genre, and I think it pretty much nailed that vibe in every aspect. So yeah, I highly recommend The Boys if you have Amazon Prime, so go check that one out. Either way, this is WillFoxification signing off. See you in the next review.